Now, I'm going to deal a little bit tonight about objections. I'm going to throw out just a few different scenarios. If you're doing a presentation, you can overcome so many objections all the way through your presentation. You can talk about how affordable our patches are. You can talk about there's science available. You can talk about how little time it can take. There's many, many different ways of overcoming some objections throughout your presentation. But I'm going to throw a few out and just see what you have to say, some of you. I think one of the biggest objections that I've had, and maybe it's my age group, I'm probably talking to senior citizens as I am. I've had a lot of people say, well, I can't afford it. I'm on a limited income and I can't afford to expand my budget any further. In fact, I've had two people tell me that this past week. So my comeback on that is to say, well, that's good news, actually, because we do have a 30-day money-back guarantee. So there's absolutely no risk. The other thing I also would say is that they could possibly be saving money in pharmaceuticals. With patches, we maybe can save on some pharmaceuticals. I would also add that you can earn income to compensate. Maybe you can earn enough to pay for your patches. If you don't even want to do a business, you just want to use patches. But, just by sharing this with just a few people, you could maybe do that. Now, does anyone else have any comeback on that if somebody says, I can't afford it?
I always say compared to what?
Yeah, that's a good one, Janie, because it's all relative, isn't it?
This is Lissa. One of the things I say about the focus patch is it's much cheaper than a cup of coffee. And it just really does focus your attention. It's great for long drives, et cetera, et cetera. And it doesn't keep you up at night.
Good point. Yeah. Objections are an opportunity to have a conversation. One of the ones that I've also had a couple of times, and Lissa has really helped me out with this, is I need to know more about how the patches work from a scientific point of view, about the peer reviews and things like that. And Lissa has dynamite information on that because Lissa is a scientist. So but my answer would just be to say science is available along with many videos. Does anyone else have anything they would say on that?
Sure, I would say exactly what you said, but I would also say that, no disrespect, but can you explain to me how this iPhone works?
Yeah,
You can't, and you don't need to know how it works, do you? You just know that it works. Did you try the patches and had results?
Yeah,
If you
same
tried
as
the patches and-
electricity. I don't know
Yeah.
how electricity works. I have to ask my spouse. My answer to that always is, what do you expect him or her to say? And I would love to explain how the product works or how the patches work or how the career works to both of you, so you'd have more information together. You'd have an informed information to make a decision on. Is this one of those crazy pyramid things? And if it's somebody I know that's saying that to me, I would say, well, do you think I'd be in something that's illegal? Because I know in their mind they're thinking this is illegal. Or I would, if it's somebody I don't know, I would say, what do you mean by pyramid? Because, they've heard that as a term, but that doesn't mean that they completely understand it. And the way I explain it to people is that banks and schools and any corporations, they are all pyramidal. The CEO at the top will always make way more money than the janitor who cleans the office, and they couldn't function without the janitor.
I was going to say with that, if somebody's got a negative opinion about network marketing and you try to start explaining to them why it's just like your job and this and that, I don't know if it's something that obviously you could do, but I don't think people want to have a rational conversation about it.
Probably not,
If they've got their belief system already in place, always it's just such an easy thing to do to turn it back on them. If somebody says that to me, listen, I've heard it 1,000 times in 25 years in this industry. You know what I say every single time? I say the same exact thing. I give them a quizzical look back and I say, I don't know. I've never heard that before. What does that mean?
Good, I like that.
And let them tell me what that means. And
Yeah,
when they tell me what it means, I say, oh no, this isn't that at all.
Well, that's why I always say, if it's someone I don't know, what do you mean by pyramid?
when was the last time you told a friend about a movie or a TV show and the producers gave you money for that? And then
Yeah,
when was the
good
last
point.
time that the person you told about also told friends and you also got money for that?
Yeah,
And like it's word of mouth. It's the most effective way to sell anything. So why not benefit, right?
absolutely. Thanks, Andrew. And the product has to be viable and excellent. Otherwise, that word of mouth would not be working. One of the ones that I love to get from people is, oh, no, I couldn't use patches because I have really sensitive skin. And back years ago in Mary Kay, we heard the expression, or we were taught, feel, felt, found. And this is where I legitimately can use this expression, because my thought is for all of you, don't ever use it if it's not true. Don't ever say, well, I feel the same way. I felt the same, or I found that. Don't ever use it if it's not legitimate. But when somebody says I have sensitive skin, you can tell by looking at me. I'm as fair as a ghost. I'm fair skin all over, and I am extremely sensitive. So when somebody says, well, I couldn't use patches, I just said, I absolutely understand how you feel, because I felt exactly the same way. I wasn't sure I was going to be able to use them, but I found by using a shower, a body wash, that it restores the pH balance in my skin. I'm able to use them anywhere on my skin, and I keep rotating them all the time. So I'm not using them in the one spot. And I do occasionally get a little bit of a rash or a little bit of an itch, but I've been able to just move them around, and it's not a problem at all. So I can really, really love when I get that objection from people.